Hi everyone. Today we are diving back in the time to have a glimpse of a retired operating system. I guess most of you people have at least once used this OS in the good old days. We are talking about the Windows Phone, a mobile platform that was very unique and in my opinion was ahead of its time. I have a Lumia 640 XL with me and it runs on the Windows Phone 8.1. Nowadays we only have two choices, that is either Android or iOS. But back in the days we also had the Windows Phone. The Windows Phone shouted itself apart from the other two, with its highly customizable home screen, with flipping and turning live tiles providing real-time info without opening the apps itself. Remember the Lumia 1020 with 41 megapixel OIS camera and Lumia 1520 with 4K recording and wireless charging? That was about 12 years ago from today. These two were one of the most phenomenal devices from the Lumia lineup. Now this Lumia 640 XL was released way back in 2015 under Microsoft branding instead of much known and nostalgic Nokia. The specifications of this phone might sound like a vintage mobile nowadays. This phone comes with merely 1 GB of RAM coupled with Snapdragon 400 and 8 GB of storage, which is eMMC 4.5. It also had a microSD card slot. The build of the phone is in classic Nokia Lumia colored shell that is removable, and it has a 3000 mAh battery which is also removable, meaning that you can change it by your own if the battery has become old. Coming to the front, it has a 5.7-inch 720p IPS LCD panel. The display is a typical one that you would expect from a 2015 phone. One bothering thing about Windows Phone was that it had no brightness slider and you had to manually visit the settings and then brightness page, and here was the best thing, which was to turn the automatic option on to let this device manage the brightness by itself, and you got 3 manual levels, which was low, medium and high. Now a worth appreciating feature in this phone was that even after being an LCD panel, the display has a feature which is very similar to the always on display that we have today. It was called glance screen. It would dim the screen on a clear black background showing you time and notifications. It was very surprising to see being possible on an LCD panel. It gave you 3 options, which was peak, interval and always on. Peak would keep the display lit for a few seconds, interval kept it even more, and always on kept it always on as the name suggests. And trust me, it works really well as it should. Now here are some Windows Phone 8.1 features. Double tapping the navigation bar to lock the screen, double tapping the screen to wake it up, and in the settings you had an option which was called Start Plus Theme. This provided you various customization options which were rare in those days. You could select a particular color from an array of colors which would be applied deep into the OS, like I have applied the yellow color. There was also ability to set background, which could be your saved images or the backgrounds that came default in the phone itself. The background that you would select would be applied at the home screen or called the start screen in the tiles in a crossed manner. Now although the Windows Phone was born in dark mode, there was also ability to set the light theme. Light theme also looked fine. Now selecting either dark or light theme was a matter of preference, but in my opinion, dark theme looked legit, and it also helped us save a little more battery. Now the start screen looked beautiful after setting a background. Now even though there was no brightness slider, there was a workaround. You could set a shortcut here which would help you directly set the brightness in 3 levels, that was low, high, medium or automatic. Another feature in the OS was the Kids Corner. You could also add a shortcut tile onto the start screen for this feature. It allowed you to create a separate space with custom allowed apps to run for the kids. Not only apps, you could also select some specific audio, video, games and apps for it. You could access this feature by swiping right from the lock screen, and there you could use it. The latter also supported NFC, and you could make cashless payments with it back in the days. NFC also allows to share files by just tapping on the back of the phone. The thing that deserves to be mentioned is the optimization of this OS. Windows Phone provided sleek system performance even on low hardware. Where the desktop Windows struggled to provide good performance even after meeting minimum requirements, Windows Phone ran all good on just 1 GB of RAM. The animations are the star of the show. They are really smooth and well implemented in the entire operating system, which is a joyful experience. Even after 10 years of its release, it runs like fluid and catches whatever app I open swiftly, all thanks to the animations again, which gives some extra time for the system to load. When it comes to installing the apps, Sadly, the store has become a complete ghost town and does not work anymore, meaning that I could not download any apps to test further. There is a way to load few apps via USB, but you will have to unlock the bootloader for that. The phone does come with few pre-installed apps which dates back from 2015, like the Ola Cabs, BlackBerry Messenger, well, Miss You Too BlackBerry, Amazon, and yes, you are right, all of them does not work at all. These apps have become nothing but just bloatware for the OS as of now. Thankfully, there's one Gameloft Hub app pre-installed in the phone, which you remember also dates back from 2015. It comes with 3 to 4 games built in. First one is a cheap copy of Temple Run, but honestly, at least it works and is playable too. These games are just nuts for this phone and lifts them up very easily. Games like Asphalt was an interesting way to test it, but it cannot be done as the store has gone completely dead. I mean, if the store does not work, majority of the apps does not work, then is there any life left in it? The answer is very short, but yes. It has an Internet Explorer 11 as the default browser. This browser back then was criticized in front of competition like Chrome and Safari, and yes, Chrome and Safari were better than it. In the modern time, this browser is dead and very clueless. But guys, don't get me wrong, it has all basic functionality and proves to be a lifesaver for this phone in current times. This is the only app in the Windows Phone that still takes some breath, and not only that, is the only person that can still connect this phone to the internet world. You can do Google searches with this, but the experience would be very annoying. Even low-demanding websites like Wikipedia struggles to load, and many other websites either refuse to open or just opens up with the broken elements. You cannot do your email sign-up just because the Google would throw an error that this browser is no longer supported and is very outdated. Now talking about YouTube never had any official app for this OS in its entire history, and browser was the only way to access it. Opening YouTube today via browser shows a warning of outdated browser, and even if you choose to continue, it looks like YouTube just completely gave up on it. The built-in Microsoft Office app works greatly as it used to do back then. You can open and create Excel, Word files and also PowerPoint PPT files with it at free of cost. The options available in the mobile version are actually limited. But still, back in those days, it was really helpful, and even today, it is still better than those free adwares, calling them Office apps on the Play Store. Even after being discontinued from Microsoft, but because this is a phone itself, yes, you can still receive and make calls through it. You can also do text messages to the person that you would wish. Here again, the interface of the Contacts app and the calling screen needs an appreciation. It is built with an impressive UI prioritizing the contact photos. Back in the days, this People Hub could fetch details about your saved contacts from platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn, and Skype. The mobile data or data connection works nicely on this phone. The phone supports 4G LTE signals on dual SIM, and you can also share your internet to other devices via utilizing the Wi-Fi hotspot. Lumia phones had interesting camera features. Many even had a hardware 2-stage camera button, which the 640 XL does not have. This phone has a 13-megapixel f2.2 single camera with Zeiss collaboration and a 5-megapixel front camera. It was interesting to see Zeiss camera collaboration on a mobile phone which dates back from 2015. This phone can shoot up to 1080p at 30 fps videos from it. Flagships like Lumia 1520 could also record 4K videos. The images captured from this phone are very contrasty, and when you zoom in, the details starts to crack. When you open the camera UI is easy to use and you get 2 buttons at the bottom. One is to capture the images and one is to record videos. Swiping up from the shoot button triggers the Pro mode, where you could control ISO, white balance, focus, light intake single-handedly. These features were rare at those times. Swiping down the camera shutter button, it also closes the Pro mode. The phone has a Lumia Storyteller application where you could publicly upload your favorite images to other Lumia users as well. There was also one offline photos app to view your photos on a mobile phone just like a normal gallery app would do. The live tiles on both the app flips and shows your recent photo, just like the newer Photos widgets on iOS. One beloved app on this phone has to be Xbox Music, which was the default music player for this phone and was designed like the Zune music player. It was very interesting to look at. The black background that you are looking behind was actually replaced by the artist image of the song that you would play. There was ability to create your own playlist also, but because the server has been shut as of today, its functionality has taken a hit. But I still use this music player to make my ears happy. Now as we come to the end, the truth is that the Windows Phone was a fresh and capable approach towards the mobile platform, and this is the reason that you are still seeing videos on it even after years of its retirement. And mind you, Microsoft has also issued the end of support date for the Windows 10 in 2025. So this beautiful Metro UI style would finally rest in peace even on desktops, as the Windows 11 has already opted for a mix of Android and Windows look. Microsoft called off the system too early. And it is strange to see Microsoft killing its own innovation even after developing such a capable operating system and design language. This OS has now become a forgotten past for many, and it is what it is. At last, this phone has become a weak piece of hardware running a hollow operating system and can merely be used for music or calls. Now please do let me know if you still have a Windows Phone in 2024 or if you remember anything about it. Thank you so much for watching till the end.